Good morning, welcome to Viewpoint, that highly rated, vaunted talk show. Everybody in Logan County and Macon County, and maybe one other. Hang on there.
Well, but it's just the fringes of that other one.
08-15 to 0900 hours. Good morning. Program of personalities, politicians, and perspectives. I think we could cover all three this morning, Mrs. Busby. I have to ask Mrs. Busby before I make a statement, because she owns 51% of the show. So why don't you let's defer things this morning to the kudos to you. You're in charge of the kudo department.
Please and thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, in keeping with our lovely guest of today as well, I doubt that people in government get thank yous and kudos very often. It's
I
most
just did
often
outside the studio.
You did a
I
what?
gave her a big hug outside the studio, so I gave her my thanks.
You don't have to tell everything, Bill. Keep some to yourself. At any rate, I'd like to give a kudo to Streets and Alleys Committee for the City of Lincoln, America, because yesterday, before breakfast, the truck came up Clay Street past my house, and I had several branches and limbs that came out of the tree during the big storm. Yeah.
They often come out
and
of the
they
trees.
picked it all up and went on to the next victim of the storm. And I just want to say thank you for taking care of that.
Well, I think that's appropriate. After a big storm, there's a whale of a job that they have to do.
Oh, I guess the calls were coming fast and furious. They could hardly answer the phones quickly enough because people were calling to say, there's a tree down and it's over the street, So they were out, by George, before breakfast.
Okay. Kudos. Give a check mark there.
Okay.
Let's move on. Let me see. Where is it? Why are we here?
Well, the next government employee here that we have is Theresa Morin. Theresa is the county clerk, and this is very timely.
You forgot it. You forgot an adjective in front of that.
What?
Outstanding county clerk.
Yes, this is most certainly true.
You don't mind I correct you, do you, once in a while?
Everybody does. Join the crowd. Anyway, Teresa's a county clerk, and she is going to talk with us about this voting by mail business, because it's in the news about how maybe we better rethink if we're in the habit of voting by mail. Just yesterday, I got a real official-looking envelope that was a survey and a questionnaire to me about the voting by mail business. And of course, when I got the envelope open, it was a legal size envelope. It was a big dude. When I got it open and got it perused on the front and turned to the back, it was how much you could send them because they needed the donations. And I thought, oh, this is another outfit. So I just deep-sixed it. But voting by mail is an issue this year, and I don't recall it having been so 4 years ago.
Right.
What do you think?
And voting by mail is not new. We've done it for a long time. Yeah. But the legislators passed a new bill. They've decided they don't want anyone to not be able to vote because of coronavirus. As it happened in March, some people were afraid to go to the polls or felt uneasy being in public. So they, just for this election, they've changed a little bit. So we've mailed out postcards for an application. If anybody wants to vote by mail, you just sign it and send it back. But as you notice, other parties have sent them out too. You've probably got multiple applications from Republican Party or the Democrat Party. Those are all legal too, but ours comes right back to our office. So if you wanted to send that one back, that would probably be the easiest.
Are you getting some questions, Mrs. Moore, about this voting by mail thing? It's not a big deal, but some people will make a mountain out of it, this molehill. Corona has changed everybody's methods of doing things. I just wonder, I said to Mrs. Gossett this yesterday evening, I said, we have to make up our minds. Either we're going to vote for mail or we're going to go to the courthouse, which I kind of enjoy anyway.
As do we.
And so I just wondered if you're getting questions and are people confused?
Right, and I think the multiple applications in mail, besides ours from other parties, that's a little confusing to people. But so far, we've got 860 postcards back.
800.
How does that compare with other election years?
We didn't even have that many total, and this is just what we've gotten in the last couple days. So people are interested in voting by mail.
I wonder if these are older people who want to take advantage of an easy way to vote, which would seem reasonable to me, or it kind of crossed the board. And
I think you're right. I think it is all though. There are people that work long hours too.
Yes.
And I think people weren't really aware that anyone could vote by mail. I think they thought it was only for if you couldn't be around on election day, but why not vote from the comfort of your own home too? But you don't have to vote by mail. You can still go to the polling place. You can still vote early in our office.
Well, it disturbs the heck out of me every election, the small percentage of the electorate which express their opinions.
We agree.
It's just pitiful, the fact that people stand on Alvy's corner and raise hell with what's going on. And
Alvy's corner? You're dating yourself. They don't have the corner anymore.
That was the drugstore in Chicago and Broadway. Anyway, seriously, people stand around and they bellyache and so forth, and then the same people do all that. They don't have enough behind them in their backbone to. I had to clean that up a little bit. To show up and vote. It's not just Lordy, folks. Anyway, go right ahead.
Well, it's the only recourse you have. I mean, if you're unhappy with things as they are, that's what you have to do. And it would be interesting to know locally or even nationally what percentage of the population actually does vote in any way, shape, or form, whether it's absentee or by mail or whatever.
Right. And as you noticed in our primary, which is different, a lot of people will vote in a primary, we had around a 33% turnout.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
1 in 3. So
then in November, which we had good local races too, we probably had a 65% turnout. And we would hope for better for this election also.
Well,
with the
there's
vote
a lot
by
of
mail
interest, happily. We have new candidate on the counter now, so I'll defer further comments about that. Go right. Theresa, what is the one biggest problem you have in the county clerk's office that from a public perception standpoint, people seem to be upset about it? Do you have any unrest from any of the voters?
I think it's
just county residents.
Misinformation.
Misinformation.
I think people find things on Facebook or another media source
There you go.
that's not ours.
Sure.
So
It's
that's
not
one
true.
thing we stress. Either check out our website, go to our Facebook page, call our office. We don't have an answer machine, we answer directly.
Yeah.
So if you have a question, get your answer from the source, not from them.
Now, it's been a long-standing complaint that you had to declare your party in a primary. But it's obvious why you have to, or you get the wrong paper. Maybe you could, although it sounds kind of simple, maybe you could address that for just a second.
And that's a law in Illinois. That's what we have. So our legislators would have to change that to have an open primary where you don't have to declare. So I agree with you, Judy. I think that would probably make a bigger voter turnout because people tell us it's none of your business what my party is.
Yeah, there's always some humpback that will come in there and come in there with a bad attitude when they hit the door. That's why I kind of like to go to the county office and vote up there. They're nice people up there, They take care of you, and you walk out there smiling. You've been well received.
Well, some of this business is just a bunch of hooey because they don't want to declare their party, and they're very vocal about that at the polling place. But everybody in the known world knows which party they favor. It's just that they have to make a stand in public saying that they don't like this business of having to declare.
I'd like to make a declaration, if you don't mind, in favor of our sponsors, because they're very important to us. And if I don't vote for the sponsors, we're out of business. Go right ahead, James. And we're right back live in the studios here at WLCN. Our program this morning, of course, Wednesday mornings, each Wednesday morning, 08:15 to 0900 hours. That vaunted talk show, Viewpoint. Our guest this morning, I say that somewhat facetiously, Theresa. Our guest this morning is County Clerk Theresa Morin. Does a whale of a job up there. I've guilty of saying this, and I'm happy to be guilty of saying this often about all of the folks up there in the courthouse.
Yes.
We are well served here in Logan County by our folks up there in the courthouse, in each and every office. So, Mrs. Moore, what are some of the duties of the county clerk, the county office?
Not only are we the election authority that we run all the elections for Logan County, we're also the recorder. So we record all the land documents in Logan County. We do
the borning and the dying, and
we do birth, death, marriage certificates. We do accounts payable. We pay the county bills for the clerk, for the county board. Did I leave out something?
Do you have a lot of folks come in who are genealogists by avocation, if nothing else, just want to know more about their families?
Absolutely. And Tanya in our office, she's our expert genealogist. She really knows how to search things and help people. And it's fun to listen to them talk about what they're trying to find.
There's something very pertinent to be said about people having been in that office for more than just months, for years, because they really know where to go to dig it up, don't they?
Absolutely. And we have a great staff. Those girls, if there's a job to be done, they get it done right away. No questions asked, and they go out of their way to help people.
Yes.
Well, there's no question about that. I'm not trying to stroke you. You run a good office. You've got some really nice people in there.
I agree.
It's nice to go out there smiling instead of scowling. What is your biggest challenge here with this election coming up here? Everybody's worried about off-site voting or voting by mail and so forth. Do you get a lot of complaints about that yet?
No, not a lot. I think it's just a lot of questions.
Confusion.
People are correct. But Anheuser-Busch has donated hand sanitizer for all the polling places in Illinois, so they'll be getting that. We've also secured face masks for the polling places, and they've provided us with some grant money to purchase any other things like that for the polling place, some Clorox wipes, things like that, extra pins, because there will still have to be social distancing at the polling places.
What are some of the questions you get from the public in regard to the voting by mail?
How are you going to know that's my ballot? And we do signature verification in Illinois. So you have to sign your application. We compare that to the signature we have on file. And then we mail you the ballot. Then when that ballot comes back, there's a certification envelope on it that you have to sign. We cannot accept it without a signature on it. Again, we verify that signature. And with this new bill, we are required to have 3 judges, election judges, in our office verifying signatures.
Mm-hmm. And unless you're a registered professional copier of signatures, it'd be pretty hard to get by all those stations, wouldn't it?
Correct. And same way at the polling place. And you know, Judy, as being an election judge, they sign that application. That's how you verify, because we have no ID.
Did I hear you say, are you at this moment required, as these ballots are coming back, to have 3 election judges in your office now?
Just the applications are coming back now. When the ballots come back, we'll have 3 judges to come in and process those. And they won't have to be there every day.
Well, couldn't we hand them a broom or a dust cloth
Oh, good idea.
Sitting around
Good
there
idea.
doing nothing.
We hope they're really busy.
Well, yes, of a serious matter. I can't encourage the voters in Logan County enough to show up, even if it's voting for an insignificant office. And there are no insignificant offices in Logan County, but an insignificant issue. Go vote what you think about it, and walk out there knowing that you've done your civic duty. We're living in a country that's remarkable in the way that we elect our officers and officials and so forth. And people do a lot of complaining, and the very people who complain the loudest don't do one doggone thing about making their opinions known.
Mm-hmm. We have 17,500 registered voters in Logan County. And
Say that number again, please.
17,500. I kind of rounded that.
Wow.
So if we had every one of those people show up on election day or vote early by mail, we would be thrilled.
You'd be there for a week instead of a day, wouldn't you?
I'd like to. Do we have a phone call, sir?
Yeah, we do.
Yes. Put your headset on, Theresa, and we'll see if we can't find. Go right ahead, caller. I think we have everything organized here. Go right ahead, please.
Good morning, Mrs. Morin. Thank you for your service to our county. You and your staff are appreciated. 2 questions, please. When does the early voting start? And how do you know people haven't sent in additional ballot applications?
Okay.
If we're getting applications from other sources, how do you know we don't end up with 3 mail-in ballots?
You can send in multiple applications, but you still only get 1 ballot. So if we receive 2 from you, we just staple those together. Our system does not allow a ballot to be sent more than once. So the number of applications really doesn't matter. You still only get 1 ballot.
I see. Well, I think that is part of what has some people concerned, that and how long it will take to count. If you have a superabundance of mail-in ballots, how long will it take to count? Will we have an answer, well before January 20th, etc.?
Sure, we process the ballots as they come in, but they're not counted until election night. And any ballots that are out after election night, you can get on the State Board of Elections website, and we will show how many vote-by-mail ballots are still out. So you'll know whether Logan County has 10 out or if we have 500 out. That would make a difference in the election.
I see.
And the date for early voting.
September 24th.
That's right around the corner.
And that'll be the first day we mail ballots. And we're going to have. Sorry, Bill.
Did we help the caller with answers?
Yes, thank you very much, and thank you, Bill and Judy. Sure enjoy your show.
Thank you very much for calling. Bye-bye. Yeah. Theresa, the matter of staffing, I think the voters would like to know how many folks are in the county clerk's office, and they're doing a whale of a job, as I keep referring to it.
Thank you. We have 5 full-time employees and 1 part-time employee.
That hardly sounds like enough for all the paperwork you have.
Right. It's a lot, but they work hard.
I bet every one of those employees is bald because they've snatched their hair out by now.
Well, we're all women, so they were gray-haired. So
648-5510. We just had a nice caller come in with some questions. If you have any questions, comments, and be nice, or Theresa Morin, our county clerk, we'd love to hear from you. 648-5510. You may have some election questions. There are a lot of folks out there who are a little bit confused about this voting by mail, and of course the corona thing has made that an important item in all areas where there's voting going on.
What about this early voting? Do you have to have a reason that you want to vote early, or can you just come in and say, I want to?
Absolutely no reason. You can just come in and vote whenever you're ready. And we're going to have extended hours again, as we did in March. for the primary election.
And they'll be what?
We haven't quite established them yet, but they'll be on our website hopefully this week.
Okay.
There'll be evening hours, different evenings. Will be Saturday hours. Columbus Day falls in there. We're going to be open on Columbus Day for people that maybe that's a holiday for them. They can come in and vote.
So our county clerk is making an extra effort to make it easier for voters to express their opinions.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that.
So there goes the excuse about I'm just too busy to vote.
Correct.
No, I don't want to hear that.
You can vote everything but midnight to 1 in the morning, can't you?
Right.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah, somewhat, yes. Your daily routine consists of, after you've wiped off the counters and disinfected everything, which unfortunately, this has made such a change in everybody's life. I presume that since your office is open to the public, that I was trying to be somewhat smart, aleck, and facetious, but I presume that that's one of the things you have to do first thing in the morning or the last thing at night is disinfect the place.
And
what is the mask
during the day
situation, too?
We do require a mask in our office.
And
our safety,
require is
too.
the operative word there.
Correct. And we have installed, I don't know if you've been in before, we do have plastic shields now between the girls out front and the customers.
They're becoming more and more popular, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Well, you got to do what you got to do.
Right. We want people to be safe in our office. And there's temperature checks downstairs to get in, past the guards too. So
the opening hours in your office are 0900 hours?
8:30 to 4:30.
8:30 to 4:30. Well, that's enough.
Then we're open through lunch too.
Yeah.
And like I said, we'll be open evenings, Saturdays to accommodate people. Or if you want to return your ballot rather than if you don't trust the mail. Because the Postal Service has suggested that our timelines don't really fit with theirs, like mailing a ballot on Election Day or the Thursday before the election, the last day we can mail a ballot. They prefer a week to get to the voter and a week to get back to us. So kind of keep that in mind. If you get your ballot in September, you might just want to go ahead and either bring it back in person or mail it then. Don't wait till...
Well, the candidates are declared by now, and there's no reason not to go ahead and vote. You don't have to wait.
By the way, I like to advise folks if they plan to go in the courthouse for any reason, not only to go up to see the lovely Mrs. Moore and her associates, but for any reason, be prepared. You will have to go through screening. That's just the way it is. And don't forget to leave your cell phone in your car, because you're not going to take that in that courthouse. And again, that had anything to do with the pandemic. That has been established for a number of short years now. Security, which is a doggone shame that the courthouses, the public buildings, are subject to that kind of security. But there are not enough nuts out there that you have to do that.
I just would like to admit to being a fossil, okay? I don't have a cell phone. But why are they not supposed to bring them in? What's the danger there?
That was court-related, so they weren't taking pictures.
Security,
in the courtroom or videoing things.
Oh, well.
You see,
you don't have to worry about
So
me.
now you can get a phone, Judy.
You're such an innocent lady that you don't realize that there are a number of nuts out there, and you just have to be prepared, even here in Logan County.
I didn't think they allowed them here. I thought I saw a sign that said, if you're nuts, don't come here.
And we have a great security staff downstairs.
Yes,
it is comforting
and
to know.
they're always very polite.
Oh, they're
very
so
professional.
helpful. Absolutely. Especially with this going on now, to cut down on foot traffic, they try and help people downstairs before they're wandering around in the wrong office. And they're really good about calling and getting people help. Well,
they upset me one day. They asked me if I needed any help going up the steps. And I almost left the building.
I'll tell the sheriff that.
Well, he was being very serious, which I appreciated that, But I thought, doggone, did I look that bad? No, there are a number of reasons for the security that we have to have, and in the kudo line, Mrs. Busby, those gentlemen in the security line, they change staff, of course, all the time, but they're always very professional and always very polite, and so tip our hat to them for that.
Right, and especially in our office, if we do have a disgruntled person, it's nice to know that one phone call and just them walking in just kind of keeps things from escalating. It just calms things down when they see the security guard there.
I just finished, speaking of running behind, Tom Brewster's book about the 60s in Logan County and the Smirker trials, and that kind of gave you an appreciation for security at the courthouse.
By the way, we'll tip our hat to Tom. Tom's a pretty good author, part-time author, by the way, security man now.
It's a heck of a book.
He worked in law enforcement, and I think he does private security work now, but he's also an author, and he's done a nice job, so tip our hat to Tommy Brewster here.
It's a good one. If you haven't read it,
No,
you better.
I will.
Theresa, what's the most difficult task you perform up there in the county clerk's office?
Difficult. I would say elections is probably the most stressful. There's a lot, and I got to admit, before I started working there, I guess I thought Sally snapped her fingers and my ballot appeared at my polling place. I had no idea what it took to pull together an election, and you have to plan for the entire 17,500 people, even if only 50 are going to show up. So I would say it's stressful, but it's fun. We love
Both sides.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true, but it would be stressful because you've got so many involvements, and everything has to be according to Hoyle, or else. I don't know, do they draw on quarter county clerks?
Now, honey, you're too young to remember this, I think, Mrs. Well, no, Orwell used to come down there. At election time, Mayberries, this is the Mayberry thing. They always had a big blackboard up there in the rotunda of the county clerk.
The blackboard's still in the basement.
And it's still done. Well, I hope we never get rid of it. And it became a kind of ritual for a lot of us. We didn't see one another for a year, and then we'd see one another came down there to look at the blackboard and see how the returns are coming in. It was kind of a fun thing.
Yeah, I remember being young, my parents leaving and driving to Lincoln to go stand in the rotunda and watch the results.
Well,
but now with technology, everything's
electronic age is here, and we don't have to get
you
out
don't
of
have
our
to get
chair.
off the couch. Yep.
You know, but I always thought that was kind of a fun thing, and I know that was replicated county-wide. We have 102 counties here, and I'll bet there's 102 blackboards somewhere in the state of Illinois.
Remember a few years ago, we had a small city election, and Sally got out the blackboard, and people came, and we tallied on it. It was fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a fixture
Yes.
at election time. You bet. You bet. When do you start mailing out the applications, or when did you start mailing out the applications for ballot?
The first week of August.
You've received your card now.
Did you? Yeah. And if anybody didn't receive a card and they want to vote by mail, just call our office, or you can go on our website and you can apply online also. But everyone should have gotten a postcard by now.
Now, believe it or not, there's folks out there who don't have a website. You know, or access to a website's what I should have said. So we just revert to the old-fashioned way of calling in.
Absolutely, and the person
say,
answers the phone.
I didn't get an absentee request, and I'd like to have one.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
we'll mail it out the same day you call.
And you'll get it like the next day, so you don't have, it doesn't loiter in the bowels of the post office or
Right.
anything.
Now, is there any overlapping of duties between the circuit clerk and the county clerk?
No.
I can't imagine where it should be. That would all be.
Yeah, they're all
sorted
court
out.
related, and we're across the hall on the other side. We overlap with the treasurer because we do the tax extension, and so we work with her. We prepare the rates and then send them down to her. She mails out the bills. So we overlap with her and the assessor.
Well, there's give and take between all the offices, actually.
Absolutely. Everyone works very well together.
How are the tax rates set, Mrs. Moore?
All the taxing bodies file their levies by the last Tuesday in December, and that's filed in our office. And then we input that into the system. The assessor has already rolled to us all the property values that she set for Logan County. And then we set the rates by what each taxing district desires to run, the money they need to run their body.
All these dates and processes are set by the state, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Do they vary greatly from state to state?
That I don't know.
With elections, however, there are two kinds. There are the open primaries and the closed primaries. Which is the dominant one across the country?
That I'm not sure, Judy.
People get to really beefing about this business of having to declare.
Right.
I never could understand that. What's the difference if I tell you which ballot I want? You know, I mean, the first time I voted here, when they said, well, which ballot do you want? I said, well, I'll just take the one on top. You don't have to dig through the pile for me. Because I didn't know
Judy. That's my Judy.
Because I didn't know the system yet, you know.
Yeah.
But
I'll give you the pretty color on it then.
Well, this has been a predominantly Republican county for years, so I was always kind of proud to tell them, give me a Republican ballot, please. But seriously, some folks object to that, and
Strongly.
I'm sorry for that.
strenuously they object.
Yes.
I
As you can
think
see
part
by
of
our
that-
voter turnout in a primary.
Pardon?
You can see how our low turnout in a primary is reflective of they don't.
Now, on election day, Mrs. Moore, how early do you have to get, Judy served as an election clerk for years, how early do you have to get the supplies and so forth to the various precincts?
We start delivering on the Friday before the election, their equipment, their voting equipment, make sure everything's set up and
Yeah.
everything's ready. And we do use some churches, so obviously we wait till Monday on those. But we're working now to put together all the manuals and the supplies. So we've already started on that process.
Are you having a hard time this year getting election judges because of the coronavirus?
So everyone has signed up to do it, but we did give them the option to please tell us now. If you're not comfortable working in November, we'll still keep you for April. But tell us now if you don't want to work, and we're perfectly fine with that. But no, we have a lot of good volunteers, as you know. We have some great election judges. We couldn't do it without them.
Well, and some of them have been an election judge since Hector was a pup, you know?
Yes, and we do it my way, and we're not going to deviate from the way I do it.
They
And
know
have
the
done it
rules
for
as
years.
well as you do.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe better sometimes.
I
We have a great group of people. I mean, that's a long day. As you know, we expect a lot out of them, and they pull through every single time.
It's a long day.
Yes.
It is. But it's a fun day. You know, I think everybody who does it, especially those who've been doing it for eons, obviously they enjoy the day, or
Right.
they wouldn't sign up.
Right. And that's what they say. They enjoy seeing the people.
Sure.
Well, there's a
Some
social
people-
outing in some cases.
Absolutely. Mhm.
Particularly, we have older folks. Why do I say that term?
Older folks, it's us, Bill.
But seriously, there are folks who don't get out very much for whatever reason. And if they become an election judge, all of a sudden that gives them a chance to see people they haven't seen for months.
Yeah.
And there's kind of a social factor there.
Absolutely.
Which is a kind of a Mayberry thing, but it's a nice thing here in
Yeah.
Logan County.
And they work together. They like getting their food order ready and deciding who's bringing what and visiting with each other, not only the voters. So.
Yeah, and they always bring some little goodies. You know, there's always plenty to eat at the polls.
I've noticed that. It looks like it's a good...
calorie-loaded stuff.
That keeps you awake all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, Judy complained to me the first time she was an election judge. She said, they don't let me take my beer in there.
Do you notice how he picks on me?
Yeah, it's terrible.
He just thinks it's because he has seniority.
There's a lot of that going on, too. Theresa, we're coming up here pretty quickly. Here we are, mid-August, almost going into September. November's going to be right here, as the old song says, the days dwindle down to a precious few. We're going to be up here at November election just momentarily, really. Are there any last-minute suggestions that you're going to impart to the voters or the prospective voters?
Sure. If you're not comfortable going to the polling place, come in and vote early. If you're ready now, you can vote early. If you don't want to vote by mail, you can come in now, or just you should do it early because of.
And that starts the 22nd, you said, I think.
Oh, we have a caller.
September.
Go right ahead. Theresa, hang on, caller, just 1 minute while Mrs. Moore puts on her headset. Gosh, you look pretty in those. Go
hang
right
on to
ahead,
'em.
please, caller.
Go ahead, please.
I don't hear my caller.
Hi, this is Sally Turner.
Good morning, Sally.
I just wanted to call and say I would be remiss if I didn't mention what a great job Teresa's doing. She's a fantastic clerk, and I have every faith in her. And she's already run 3 elections, and we have every reason to believe that she's going to run this one just as well as the last 3.
Oh, bless your heart,
That's
Sally.
just the way Theresa wrote that. Sally, we appreciate your call. And thank you for
Thanks,
your
Sal.
service to us down through the years. My goodness gracious.
Tough act to follow.
That is, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Sally, very much. Have
Thank
a good
you.
day, my dear.
Absolutely. Thanks for your
I liked
show,
her.
you guys, too.
Oh, my, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Outstanding
She was a
service.
nice lady.
And still serving us.
You had a good mentor there.
Oh, absolutely.
That was nice.
Yep, yeah.
Look
Still is.
what I've got to follow here. Him with the seniority.
Yeah, she ran a good office, so it was easy to step in.
Yeah.
And everything was run with integrity.
Oh,
I'm sure not every
and you're
incumbent
you're using the
clerk
operative
can
word
say
there,
that.
integrity, and that's very, very important. And of course, this young lady has gone on to service in many ways since then. So we appreciate, Sally, what you laid down the groundwork. Certainly,
Definitely.
the first thing that you have to do on election day is what, Mrs. Moore?
We usually, on election day, we arrive around 5 o'clock in case there's a problem at the polling places while they're setting up. So pretty much we're just there waiting to make sure everything works. But last couple of years, we started delivering all the supplies rather than them having to pick it up. So then we know they're there. We know the machine's set up correctly. So that's cut down on some of the calls. But if election judge doesn't show up or something like that, they call us.
What do you do if an election judge doesn't show up? Let a contract on him or something?
We call the sheriff. No. They can appoint someone else. We tell them usually wait till about, because some people do oversleep, wait till about 6:15. But if a person of that party does come in, they can ask that person if they would like to work. And they swear them in, and then they work. In fact, one year my dad did that in Elkhart, because there's few Democrats in Elkhart, and they didn't have one, so he sat there that day.
So he got conscripted.
They raised the term limits on them down there. They let more into the township than they used to. The machine, the equipment, after we voted and we slip our ballot into this equipment, where is this stored? Election time to election time, is this leased? How does that work?
Right, and it's there's a room next to our office that we keep the machines in, like the bins that it sits on, anything like that we store in the basement, but we keep the machines in a locked room.
So the various election places, they own their own equipment, so to speak.
Correct. Certified through the State Board of Elections. It's a rigorous process to get your equipment certified. And then we're free to choose which vendor we want.
648-5510. This is your last shot at talking with Theresa Morin, who's followed one of the most outstanding county clerks we had in years, and now we have another outstanding clerk. So you're doing us a good job. The voters are getting their money's worth, I can tell you that. So, go
Are
ahead,
you
Judith.
still in need at this date of judges? As far as you know.
No, I mean, because we just certified them, the party chairs certified the names for both of us. But what happened in March? It was Monday when people, and most of them were, my kids won't let me work. So we're sitting good right now. But we always need extra ones.
That
'cause
can
you just
change
never
tomorrow.
know. Absolutely.
Does that drive you crazy? That you never really have a final answer until it's over?
It's a little nerve-wracking.
It would be.
Yes.
I mean, if you need 6 and you got 2.
Right. And as you know, you could work a little bit short in an emergency like that. It's
Now, do you
doable
have
because
a
you
little-
guys are so
Oh, yeah.
good at it.
You have a short cadre of backups, people to whom you go if you have somebody call in sick or something like that?
Because we do have regular judges, and then we have people that are called alternate judges. So they get called
What's
in.
going to be the policy come election day of masks?
Well, I mean, they're suggested. I don't know that we can make it
That's all you can do.
mandatory. And like I said, we're going to provide masks there.
It's really, the masks, to me, are a sign of respect. Because
Absolutely.
the
I agree.
mask doesn't save me, but it saves me from infecting you. And respect, unfortunately, is a dying act.
Unfortunately.
You just see less and less of it. It's all about the big number one. I just want to worry about me. I don't give a toot about you.
And a
Yes,
young,
it is. You see collect on the beach somewhere down south. Theresa Morin, been our county clerk here for how many years now, dear?
since 2018, so it's not very long.
Oh, my. Anyway, we appreciate your taking your time. You're very...
I appreciate you having it, too.
We thank you very much, Theresa.
Thank you.
Thank you for Viewpoint. And as I always close, be the reason somebody smiles each day.
I like that.
Way to go.